Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 20th of April 2018 and we're going to reflect on John chapter 6 verses 52 to 59. The Jews then disputed among themselves, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" So Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life, and I will raise them up on the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood abide in me, and I in them. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so whoever eats me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven, not like that which your ancestors ate and they died. But the one who eats this bread will live forever." He said these things while he was preaching in the synagogue at Capernaum. The Gospel of the Lord. In John 15:7, Jesus makes one of his most powerful promises. He says, "If you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish, and it will be done for you." Ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. Just think about that for a moment. God is saying that he is going to do whatever you ask. However, there is a little condition. We need to abide in him and let his words abide in us. Earlier in this passage, he says, "If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit." That's John 15:5. So how do we remain in Jesus, and how do we let him remain in us? And in today's reading, we find the answer. Those who eat my flesh and drink my blood abide in me and I in them. Once again, the Jews were very disturbed because they didn't understand what Jesus was saying. They were taking his words literally. To repeat a point I made a few days earlier, those who are unspiritual are unable to understand spiritual truths because these can only be spiritually discerned. Jesus was, of course, speaking in spiritual terms. Now, flesh and blood is a Hebrew idiom referring to the whole person. When Jesus speaks of eating his flesh and blood, he was inviting us to enter into a deep communion with him. After all, we become what we eat. And when we eat the body and drink the blood, in a real sense, we become like Jesus, but we need to discern this properly. Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, writes, "Whoever therefore eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be answerable for the body and blood of the Lord. Examine yourselves, and only then eat of the bread and drink of the cup." That's 1 Corinthians 11:27 to 28. So the next time you receive communion, be aware of who you are receiving, and you will be blessed for it. God bless.